Oi! Hillary Clinton mocks Trump in SNL. Donald Trump mocks Clinton by showing her his numbers. Floridian Libertarian candidate for Senate Augustus Sol Invictus said, "I killed a goat and drank its blood." Dude, if your name is Augustus Sol Invictus, drinking goat's blood is the least wrong thing about you. American Apparel declares bankruptcy. Thousands of hipsters are buying clothes from the homeless. They say it's ragged, smelly, and overpriced, but hey, isn't bankruptcy. Yo soy Chumel Torres and this is El Pulso. Amigos, guns. Something that if it's mixed with roses produces a hell of a band, and if mixed with Republicans produces a joke. This week, guns hit the target of scandal. As you may know, last week a gunman opened fire in a writing class at a community college in Roseburg, Oregon. This is the 45th school shooting in the US this year. That left 9 dead. Digging through this sad story, we found out that Oregon is one of the fewer than a dozen states, along with more conservative counterparts like Mississippi and Utah, that allow concealed carry on college campuses. These states allowed guns on college? Why do anyone would need to use a gun in college? Are conservatives insane? That's rhetorical. Okay guys, please get down. We're gonna start a class. I said sit down! I have the results for last week's quiz. So here you go. Hernandez, you had a D-, bro. Ah, damn! And Malone, you got an A. Congratulations. Attaboy! A frequent refrain among conservatives is that violent rampages happen in places like college campuses and movie theaters precisely because guns are banned there. The thinking goes that someone setting out to commit a massacre can select a target where he is reasonably assured not to encounter an armed citizen, even if there's no evidence at all of a shooter ever selecting a target precisely because it is gun-free zone. The conflicting thing was that at least one student, and likely others, was carrying a concealed weapon during the Oregon massacre. Needless to say, this did not prevent the tragedy. An armed student from the same college, John Parker Jr., explained just how difficult, if not impossible, it would have been for an armed bystander to stop the attack. The SWAT team wouldn't know who we were, and if we had our guns ready to shoot, they could think we were the bad guys, he told MSNBC. And that's exactly the point. This doesn't work. Preventing gun violence by giving guns to everyone is like preventing child obesity by giving them free McDonald's breakfasts. But this case raised a conversation through every college, since another reason college administrators tend to support banning firearms on campus is insurance. According to Jennifer Lynch, a spokesperson at the Oregon Alliance for Gun Safety, insurance companies refuse to cover schools with more guns or charge sky-high rates. Insurance companies aren't emotional or political. They look only at the risk, she said. They know the risk of having armed people on campus increases the risk of gun injuries and gun deaths. You see, even the cold-hearted, money-grabbing, heartless piece of shit business like insurance knows this. Why the fuck we don't? In this matter, the spokesperson of everything that's wrong, according to Republicans, Barack Obama, stood in the White House briefing room and once again railed against those who object to increased firearm regulation. Right now, I can't imagine the press releases being cranked out. We need more guns, they'll argue. Fewer guns, safety laws. Does anybody really believe that? No, we don't, sir. A mid-July survey by the Pew Research Center seems to support his claim. Almost 80% of respondents back laws preventing the mentally ill from purchasing firearms, and 70% went in favor of a national gun sale database. So, the public supported, why doesn't it happen? The thing is that Obama is powerless to reform gun laws. You see, these numbers don't really mean much. However, what does matter is the opinion of members of the US Congress. And that legislative body is overwhelmingly against further gun regulation. But wait a minute, isn't the Congress supposed to support and protect the public? Well, amigos, we're sorry to inform you that according to another survey, Congress doesn't have to represent the views of the majority of the Americans. That's right. It represents the views of Americans who go at the polls on election day and the simple majorities in the voting districts in which they cast their ballots. So the fault is yours. I'm saying this because I live in Mexico, but believe me, things are worst here. If you guys think that gun control is necessary, you need to get your lazy asses out of the couch and into the voting ballot. Because nothing's gonna change unless we change. I mean you. And remember, law is a reflection of the needs of a society. So make some sense and next time vote to take away guns and to bring some peace into US soil. You really need that. Regresamos. This is a flash! Denmark, the perfect place to live unless you're Hamlet. This week celebrated the 10th anniversary of the publication of the cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad in Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten. Well, maybe celebrate is not the right word after all. 10 years of controversy about what's freedom of speech and what's intolerance. This subject is relevant because it's considered highly blasphemous in Islamic traditions to make a picture of Muhammad. And when the cartoons were published, the Muslims were more angry than your boyfriend when you said, wherever you want to go to dinner, it's okay. It's not okay. Please tell me, where did you want to go? But let's talk about freedom of speech, where it begins and where it ends. On one hand, you have the people who insists that free speech includes the right to offend any idea, religious or secular. On the other hand, are those who believe that religion, and Islam particularly, must be protected from scorn and mockery. Nowadays, a lot of causes have been using the same flag. Nobody can make fun of Christians, gun lovers, vegetarians, men who use purses. Come on, you're a man, it's a purse! Of course I'm gonna laugh at you! Anyway, we said freedom of speech, they say politically incorrect. But a lot of things have happened after the publication of the cartoons. At least 5 terrorist attempts happened against Jyllands-Posten, including a plot masterminded by American-Pakistani terrorist David Headley that include plans to behead as many Jyllands-Posten journalists as possible and throw their heads on the street below. Jesus! I mean, I'm not gonna say it. Of course, everybody remembers the attack against Charlie Hebdo, which reprinted the Danish cartoons. It was a sad day and a terrible attack to any kind of freedom. In 2006, 43% of the Danish population supported Jyllands-Posten's decision to publish the cartoons. In January 2015, shortly after the attacks against Charlie Hebdo, the ranks of the supporter had swollen to 65% with only 17% opposed. Everybody was Je suis Charlie. Everybody was against radicals, even the men with purses. Well, the following month of the attack, a free speech debate and a synagogue in Copenhagen were attacked by Islamist gunmen. On February 14 this year, resulting in 2 fatalities, and the paranoid in Denmark begun. The Danish Broadcasting Corporation imposed a rule on its journalists insisting that the cartoons could not be shown on television without prior authorization. When a journalist ignored the instruction by showing the cartoons on live television in an interview, he was reprimanded by his editor. So we're not gonna mock at this at all. We want a good balance between learning how to make comedy and be informative, and instead of feel insulted, have some laugh of how we are and how we live, and a place when we can all laugh about men using purses. You still remember the hashtag love wins, right? That precious hashtag that united all social networks under a beautiful rainbow and celebrated the approval of the gay marriage in the US. Well, right now, the hashtag has been threatened and has a new evil enemy, Pope Francis. But why, Chumi? Are you crazy? First the Volkswagen and now the Pope? Is this the rebellion of Europe? Is this the Third World War? Well, maybe the Pope is not an evil enemy of love wins, but as we say in Mexico, don't do good things that look like bad things. It doesn't make sense in English, but bueno. No hagas cosas buenas que parezcan malas. Ask someone who knows Spanish. Let's check the facts. As we told you before, Pope Francis came to the US and he was welcomed like a rock star. Thousands of people affectionately greeted the Pope, including President Obama, Kim Kardashian, and Donald Trump. Okay, thousands of people warmly welcomed the Pope or tweeted about it. The Pope, like any head of state, had a public agenda and a private one to take the most of his first travel to the US of A. Well, in the private agenda, he had a meeting with Kim Davis. Remember her?
The appeal stay has been denied.
Right. The injunction is the order that you're supposed to issue marriage license.
And we're not issuing marriage
The
license
Supreme
today.
Court denied your stay.
We are not issuing marriage license today. So
Based on what?
I would ask you all to
Why are you not
go ahead
issuing
and
marriage license?
Yes, the Kentucky clerk who spent 6 days in jail for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Yes, Kim Davis in an open confrontation with the United States Constitution. While the Pope met her for 10 minutes at the Vatican Embassy in Washington. What did they talk about? We don't know. The Vatican had little to say about the meeting. I don't deny that the meeting took place, said the Reverend Federico Lombardi, spokesperson for the Pope. But I have no comment to add. Of course, this was not very good news for the LGBT communities in America. Francis de Bernardo, head of the New Ways Ministry, an LGBT Catholic group, said the Pope sometimes seems to talk out of both sides of his mouth when it comes to gay rights. The time for vagueness, ambiguity, and secret meetings is over, de Bernardo says. Pope Francis needs to state clearly where he stands in regard to the inclusion of LGBT people in the church and society. From El Pulso, we would like to remember to Pope Francis another wise Mexican proverb, or refrán para los latinos. Because we all know he's a good man. I mean, he's the ambassador of Jesus Christ in the world, he better be. But also he is a human being with rights and wrongs. Tus acciones son más fuertes que tus palabras. Ask someone who knows Spanish, okay? Amigos, with great power comes great responsibility, said once Peter Parker's Uncle Ben. We are positive on that one. And ever since the internet have proved him right. The internet, for sure, it's a great source of information, and information means power. Oh, you don't believe me? Try to find out where did your mother learn to cook and yell the way she does.
Pissed, are you? That last fucking look at me in the eyes! Not as pissed as I am! You fucking are! Donkey! No.
Exactly, the internet. Well, the internet once again brought us truth and enlightenment. That's right, amigos. The holy grail of information has opened our eyes. Praise the Lord, and that's because we recently found out that there are plots against people. There is a secret society that plays with our minds and create such elaborated stratagems just to keep us sedated. Secret societies disguised like cute kittens, for example, trying to manipulate our will to so cute. You see? And making great efforts to keep our favorite singers going even beyond their deaths. Yes, I know it's hard for you. I know I should have prevented you from this news, but my friends, it's my job to report what the holy internet says. This girl right here, you may say, yeah, Chumi, that's Avril Lavigne. And maybe if I was just as numb as you are, I will think that as well. But no, my friends. Now it's time to open your eyes. This is not Avril Lavigne. This is an imposter. Avril Lavigne died in 2003 and was replaced by this poor, beautiful blonde whose only sin was to be identical to the emo pop singer. This poor soul was dragged out of, well, I don't know where, but she was forced to live a life of fame, wealth, and success. God have mercy of her! How could you be so cruel? And you may say, Chumi, how did this happen? And I will answer, the internet, brothers and sisters. The holy internet, once again, showing us the path of the righteous. Yes, Avril Lavigne died in 2003, and we have indisputable evidence to that. Hello? Dude, I'm kind of busy here. Yeah, I'm actually talking about Avril Lavigne's death. What? It's a hoax? But we've seen the picture. What? It's a joke? Well, at least I have the Ringo Starr statement on Paul McCartney's dead. It's a fake too! What's real? What's not? Is this real life? It all started as a joke Ryan Broderick, a BuzzFeed News reporter, posted on his Twitter feed. And then the internet went millennial about it and started sharing it, believing it was real because internet. Well, amigos, it seems at this time one cannot trust everything you read on the internet. Sure, information means power, and we as communicators must be always aware of that power and the huge responsibility that comes with it. Just as the late Uncle Ben told Richard Park. What? Uncle Ben didn't say that? It was a quote from an unknown French writer? God damn it! No! No! Oh my God! All this time it was! We finally really did it! You maniacs! You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you! All the hell! Regresamos. Amigos, the political campaign is like an advertising campaign, but sex doesn't sell at all. Ew. This week, the political campaigns were the protagonist on our classical section, Loony Democracy. And we begin with the most famous carrot since Carrot Top, Donald Trump, who seems like every week surpasses himself with statements written in golden letters in the halls of comedy. It seems that Trump have a shit o'clock timer to make his statements with enough space over the week, but here's a nice mix. Middle East would be more stable if Saddam and Gaddafi were still in power. Nope, this is not a dialogue from the devil in South Park movie. This is Donald Trump, for real.
And you
that is interesting. Let's fuck.
Saddam, no, I'm trying to have a nice conversation with you.
Trump seems to like more bloody dictators with control rather than bloody organizations like Boko Haram or ISIS without control. Number 2. Donald Trump says more guns could have stopped the Oregon massacre. Yeah, we should be surprised, but no, we're not. This is Trump. Dude, I can't stand my diabetes. It just hurts so much. I can't keep up the pace with my fellow running friends. I can't eat what they eat. And it just makes me angry, man. That's easy, man. You should start a pro-sugar campaign. Make your friends eat cake and delicious Twinkies until they become diabetics too. And they will never mock you with their healthy figures. You see? It's easy, bro. You're a genius. The statement goes literally like this. I can make the case that if there were guns in that room other than the shooters, fewer people would have died. Fewer people would have been so horribly injured. So there it is. A crazy, violent son of a bitch with a gun should be stopped with more guns according to the potential president of the United States. God, it gives me the chills. Also, he claims that guns, no guns, it doesn't matter, he said. You have people that are mentally ill and they're gonna come through the cracks. In fact, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, people with mental illnesses are no more likely to commit acts of violence than anybody else. They commit just 3 to 5% of all violent incidents. In other words, everybody could be a potential lunatic. But the difference is that some of us just choose making a web news show instead of purchasing guns in Walmart. And number 3, last but not least, Trump said if he becomes president, spoiler, you won't. I beg you won't. He is going to send back the Syrian immigrants. So, if you had a doubt about the Bugs Bunny monster that is running for president. Now, enough with Trump. Let's talk about real candidates. Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush. The Latin power versus the weapon power. The Master and the Apprentice. Anakin and Obi-Wan. As you may know, they haven't touched each other in their respective campaigns, neither in the debate or public statements, until this week. Bush abandoned his safe zone and publicly attacked Rubio's positions. On Wednesday, Jeb Bush finally said the words, Marco Rubio. And then he threw a few punches at his friend, longtime ally, and Miami neighbor. Bush framed himself as a leader and Marco Rubio as a follower.
And his followers, but I'd rather be a dick
exactly.
than a swallow.
As I was saying, Bush also backhanded Rubio with the worst possible diss a GOP candidate could make. Bush compared him to President Barack Obama. To Republicans, that's like comparing the devil with the bigger devil. Like a bigger black Muslim devil who throws feminists with a gun made with flowers. Look, we had a president who came in and said the same kind of thing, new and improved, hope and change. And he didn't have the leadership skills to fix things. Bush said. A subtle but pointed reminder of the similarities between the president and Rubio. Both skilled speakers who seek the White House with just one Senate term under the belts. So now we have two supposed friends going after the same girl. They are going to fight each other and erase any sign of friendship they had. The bad thing is that this girl is already making out with this guy. Regresamos. Well, that's it for us. My name is Chumel Torres and this is El Pulso. Your subscription and thumbs up are greatly appreciated. I'm gone, but before I go, I would like to remind you, like every week, los amo, estupids.